Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean.
And welcome to Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus. And as usual with me on the show is my colleague.
Hi, I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, the other co-creator of Connections 50 Plus, which brings you 5.8G Alive. Welcome, welcome. Chen, how you going? We are still trailblazing?
Yeah, I am doing great. I'm very excited, Terry-Ann, with our team this month. You know, really celebrating as a life, celebrating successes, just celebrating a journey, being on the third act stage. And we're celebrating and encouraging our 5.8G tribe to also celebrate, to write their stories. You know, we have started, we only have what, maybe one more session?
Yeah.
And looking forward that at the end of it all, for us to share with the audience how it went, you know, and what we have learned and the joy of telling your story. You know, it is so important. Again, you know, I still chat, as I said, we're in the month of October, and my goal is to just encourage people to tell their stories, even if they're not doing any autobiography or didn't attend these sessions, that this is something they can still consider. It's ongoing, you know? So yeah, it's an exciting, we started the month with a lot of excitement, and I think we continue. And we continue because our next guest, oh gosh, I am so happy that we can have her with us to share her story, because her story is really one that needs to be shared. Yeah. So Lilla Williams would be joining us. And Lilla is really she's the managing director of Screen Stars Limited, but not just Screen Stars Limited, also Cruise Garment and Mapule Limited. So let's join Lilla and have that discussion with her.
Great.
Folks, as mentioned, we are continuing with our interviews with our very, I want to say famous. I prefer to say famous, hardworking, well-established, businesswoman. So far, we have been having women. So let me say businesswomen and entrepreneurs. And as mentioned before, we are very, very fortunate to have Lilla Williams with us. Lilla, if you don't know, now I will tell you. Lilla is the managing director of Screen Stars Limited, Cruise Garment, and Mapule Limited. As we chat with her, you're going to hear more about what these three businesses are all about. But I want to start, Lilla, I would like you to tell us more about you. Who is Lilla Williams, this successful businesswoman?
Oh, good evening. Thank you for having me. Lilla Williams is a spiritually strong lady who is continually growing, a businesswoman who have come through the ranks of hard work and done many things and crossed many hurdles. And although past retirement age is still growing, and at this time, turning over the business to her children, because it's now a family business with, and this is what she's doing at this time.
Great, that sounds good. So, Terry-Ann, I know you have a lot. I'll let you just take over from here because I know you're all excited to ask these questions.
I am so excited, Lilla, to have you on the show because as everyone knows, I have a little beef with us as a people, and it's not a bad beef, it's a good beef. And Connections 50 Plus is working hard to fix that beef. You know, so many of us, especially us Afrocentric persons, we work so hard to build so many institutions, be they business, social, cultural, digging in the trenches. We've had our heads down, and for many of us, we've not been blessed with inheritances. So we've had to start from scratch. And very often we begin to see our little flags popping up at the end of the first generation or the second generation, and glory hallelujah if we get to third generation. But there's so many of us around, and I see you as one of them. And I want to say that I am so proud that we are able to platform you in this way, because I understand you as screen stars, and I know it's a long introduction, but I get into my question just now. Screen stars and t-shirts and all those things. But you are a corporate entity, and you just outlined 3 businesses. But before we get into the nuts and bolts, could you tell us a bit more about what each of those businesses does and where they are? Because I know you're not only business. You're not only business. So let's start with Screen Stars. What is Screen Stars' story?
Screen Stars does screen printing, embroidery, advertising specialties, like we print like coffee mugs, pens, pencils, bags, and other advertising specialties.
So you print on any surface. You print on any surface.
Almost any surface. You know, people have tablecloths for function. They bring them and they get them branded, or almost any services. Sometimes they have to lift it through the door, but we get it printed.
Okay, good. And Screen Stars, the foundation business?
Yes, it was. And the other businesses came out of Screen Stars. They all attached. For instance, the other business, which is the garment manufacturing, although that one came last. It's 14 years old.
So that's cruise garments. That's cruise garments.
Cruise garments, yes.
Okay, and what does cruise garments do? What lines?
Cruise garment manufactures industrial clothing, industrial garments, and also the hospital wear, scrubs and stuff like that, and restaurant wear, and uniforms, not fashion uniforms, but uniforms mostly for factories, specializing more in the factory and industrial wear.
Okay. So all the overalls and coveralls, safety uniforms,
yes.
And all those. So when we see people up and down, janitorial, safety, and scrubs, nursing homes, hospitals, caregivers, we could probably be seeing cruise garments walking up and down.
And cruise garment has quite a big export market in this way, to Grenada, to St. Vincent, to St. Lucia, and many other islands, mainly the islands. But this is fueled by our CARICOM agreement. Because of CARICOM, you are able to export because of the CARICOM treatment that is given to your goods. So it's favorable, and we were actually exporting before we bought the factory. We were buying from that very factory and branding and exporting before and now we have the factory. So
Great.
And then we have Mapule Souvenir.
yes.
All right.
Because we are in the printing business, and it started way back when Screen Stars was young, and after Carnival, there was nothing to do for the printers. And at that time, most of the printing companies, because Screen Stars is over 40 years old. And most of the printing companies at that time were small, and after Carnival they closed down and they came back up at Carnival. So we had to find a way to keep the workers and to stay steady after Carnival, and we targeted the tourist market, and this was mainly in Tobago, and we did a lot of work in Tobago. Tobago at that time, people did not service Tobago with so much tourist items, and we started printing T-shirts, coffee mugs, aprons, bags. We quickly had a mini sew shop attached to Screen Stars, and that is how we started that type of business. So when we moved on, in order that you make sure that you have work for your workers in the printing business, and as we know, like the larger companies, we would not get a contract like Carib or one of those big ones. So we had to keep busy, and so it was okay. We just expanded in the souvenir business, and eventually moved to our own shops.
Okay, and you have 3 shops.
Mm-hmm.
And which are those shops?
We have one on Frederick Street, at the corner of Prince and Frederick Street, which is called Selection House.
That has been there for a long time.
Yes, it has had many owners, and I've been the owner there for about 19 years or so, because it has always been a souvenir shop, yes, and sold to different people. Okay. But we have been in that spot for about 19 years.
Great. And you're also at the airport?
Yes, at the airport, we are called Memories of Trinidad and Tobago.
And where are you located in the airport?
I'm sending
people by you, huh?
Well, thank you. On the South Terminal, on the South Terminal, not the Caribbean Airlines side, the other side.
Okay, that's by the big
there we have been in the airport for about 16 years. We were previously on the other side where Caribbean Airlines is now extended their launch. We were there, and when the launch came, we moved to the other side.
Okay, and then you're also at the cruise ship complex.
Yes, well, we've been on the cruise ship complex for about 35 years or more. Prior to the cruise ship people having shops to rent, we used to sell at Shed 6. When the ships came in at Shed 6, you put your tent up and you go and sell your wares, and there's where we started. And then the port made actual shops for people, and when they did that many years ago, we took a shop, so we actually have a shop down there all these years.
All right,
Lilla, let's come in here. I am listening to you. You're talking about 40 years and 35 years and plenty years, yes. Which is, it's just fantastic for you to be in business, sustainable, because you always hear they complain about you know, who can run business, etc., etc. I want to just take you back a bit before Terry and take you a little further. Um, Tell us, how did you get into business? You know, before that, so that's about 40 years ago. What pushed you, you know, to say, look, let me get into business?
Um, like a lot of things, it happened. I lived abroad and I came back, and a friend of mine was starting a screen printing business, and and asked me to come and start with him and get in with him and into this business, and we started it, and after many years he went abroad and I continued the business.
Okay.
Well, not many years, maybe about 5, maybe about 7 years or so. But that's how that you know.
Ellen, let
So
me
when I took over the business on my own, we probably have had about eight people employed, and prior to COVID, we had about 40.
Wow.
Great, great. I want to be very blunt and straightforward and mind your personal business. You are involved in garment manufacturing, retailing, well, manufacturing, retailing, distribution, exports, and you have some serious longevity in that 30 years, 40 years, 15 years, and stuff like that. Is it that you're related or married to an Arab?
I love it. I love it. Well,
I just want to set the record straight.
I think I come from my grandmother was, I always say she was a businesswoman. I am sure that I learned a lot from her. When I say a businesswoman, she sold ground provision. Incidentally, I was born in St. Vincent, and I grew up in Trinidad, in Maracas. I came here when I was 7, but my early years with my grandmother, who was a farmer, who people came and bought stuff from her to ship to Trinidad, and I was always part of that. And like you see young children young Chinese or Indians who work in shops, that's how I was. I was up there with her.
She was a huckster.
And selling,
a huckster, a good huckster.
Yeah. I was there weighing and
on
selling.
The jetty, on the jetty.
Well, not the jetty. They came to your yard.
Okay.
They came and they bought, and they did the traffic and came down here. So you had all the rooms with the stuff to sell, and sometimes she wouldn't be there, but she would trust me and to do what she'd tell me what to do, and I would do exactly that. And
so coming back here in these businesses, your business has always been, if I am to understand you, because you didn't answer my question directly, has always been Black owned.
Oh yes, definitely. My partner, when we started, yeah, definitely.
And I think that is something that, and that's part of my crusade, because a lot of us, I think we are in danger, real danger as a cohort. And here I'm not just on women, it's generally that if we don't tell our stories and if we don't say, which is why we've dedicated this month to stories and have the program Write Your Autobiography. If we don't say it, we run the risk of this generation passing and our children quietly going about, and there are a lot of people who are looking for role models, looking to see, am I going to be cutting down parts in virgin forest, or has somebody been here before that I can learn something from and do it better, do it differently, or follow in their paths? And because we've been so busy doing the work, we've not had a platform or time to raise up and say, hey, here I am. And
Yes.
that's why I am very specific in asking the questions, because this is a phenomenal achievement. And I want to put onto that now, just to make sure people understand that Screen Stars is not just a t-shirt company or man. You have a very critical community
Yes.
position in Belmont, starting with your building.
Yes, yes, yes,
So tell us
will
about that.
send you.
So Screen Stars is the corner of Belmont Circular and Duttig Road, which is a historical location. I think the West
Yes.
India Library was there
Yes, yes.
before, and
Yes.
your building has a phenomenal mural that, and it's actually one of the stops on the National Trust tours.
Heritage,
Heritage
National
Tour.
Heritage Store. Yeah.
So how did you happen to get into this place, and tell us about your role as an activist, a community activist in Belmont?
Well, no, I am not a community activist in Belmont. The building was I was refurbishing the building, and the final painting that you saw on it, it was done in the recent years by the Ministry of Tourism.
Community, all right, good.
Community, it's tourism, or one of the ministries in tourism. There was a mural that was painted once they determined that area was part of the Heritage Walk, and it became really tatty, and we were refurbishing the building, and but we didn't want to do anything to it, so we reached out to them and said, we are doing the building, but we would like for you to come and refresh, because it's really something to be kept. And they reacted, and they came and they did the mural over, and it's really something, as you know, and we're very proud to be part of it. And we keep the building looking spruce, because it's so good to drive around the corner and you smile, and people come and take photographs there and stuff like that, so it's really delightful.
Absolutely.
And I have to agree with you. I can't believe, Lilla, keep all these things a big, big secret. You know?
She wasn't
asked. So Lilla, it's so great to be here for you to share. It's just important information, historic information, to share with our audience. Yes.
The thing is, I have traveled all these years and gone all this far, and you talked about wanting to let young people know that what they can do and being an example. One of the first things it's not been a journey that was by any means easy, and it's about falling down and getting up. There were the 80s. We've been through many depressions. There were times that you think that, what am I going to do? But, I say to my staff, I say, you cannot be totally committed sometimes. So you have to be committed. So regardless of what happens, you just get up and you go again, and you continue to be dedicated, you continue to plan, you continue to have goals, you continue to make sure your future is you do not walk in the dark. You always looking forward and planning forward, and not just sitting there and waiting for something to happen. You have to make it happen by doing it yourself, or leading the way. And we talk about the young people. Yes, if anything we have to teach them is, stay in power about, and not feeling that if something goes wrong, that it's the end, and that I give up. I give up is not an option.
because if you give up, you're done. You're done.
Yes, quite so.
Lilla?
What you also to share with us? You mentioned at the beginning also that your son runs one of the business, which is what, the cruise garment, and your daughter is also involved in the souvenir factory. Now we also, we hear talk from persons who run in their businesses that, you know what, when we talk about leaving a legacy and passing on that business to your children, they will say things that, we can't get these young people to get involved. You don't know what to do again. And, what would you say? What did you do to really have your children, be in the business and not just say, well, they're just not interested and walk away?
Because my daughter is involved from an advisory point of view in over all the business. My son, who is active, and it is not, again, to get my son into the business is not, hey, come, get into the business and do it. It took time, it took prodding, it took training, it took a lot of up and down and old-time mothering to get where we are. And when we decided to get the factory, to buy the factory, he was made to go and apprentice with the gentleman who owned the factory for almost a year before we took the factory over. He actually worked with him, did all that he could do, because again, I am afraid of failure, and I had never run a factory, and I needed to know that, to feel comfortable. So before the deal was signed, he had been there with the old owner, who's a who was someone who had been in the business for over 60 years. But his children did not want to move on in the factory. And so it's not about getting them very easily to do it. It's about, some talking, planning, organizing, and stuff like that, and training to have it done.
Did your son have the idea that he had an option?
No, it's something we discussed. I said, look, we could do this, but if we are to do this, this is how I suggest we do it to be sure, and go think about it. But the same thing I just said to him, I say, you cannot be totally committed sometimes, so you cannot get up tomorrow morning and say, I don't want to do it again. It's once you're in. And he came back and said, listen, yeah, I want to go. And I said, we had a discussion about going forward, and I told him to go and think about it, because as I mentioned previously, I said those same words to him. You cannot be totally committed sometimes. And so, it entails a lot. And before he went to do the training with the previous owner, we talked and we discussed, and he said, I'm willing to try, I'm willing to do it. And that's how we started out with the factory.
Yeah. But Lilla, I'm going to ask, I am sure, or I'm asking, did you have to impress upon him how critical it was that he be in this with you? For instance, if he had not gone in, would you have continued with the deal?
Perhaps not. And it was timely, because we were both looking for a niche somewhere that he would go, because mother and son working at Screen Stars, is not, we needed to separate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we both decided that, because it's about, I'm a man, and I need to do this way or whatever. And So we were looking for something. And when that came up, we said, look, this is an option here. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we have a very good relationship.
Yeah. I think it is, and it sounds like he understood where the stakes were in terms of the family's well-being, financial stability going forward. And Jennifer, I think a lot of parents, they probably start that discussion late when it's almost time to hand over. And the child has not been part and parcel of the business and doesn't understand exactly how high the stakes are. So after they've adapted their lives, they want to tell them, come in now. After they're watching you, catching your skin and suffering and working so long. You know? So I would think that's your son understood this was the family well-being that was being managed here. Is that correct, Lilla?
Quite correct. Because he had been working in Screen Stars previously in all sorts of different positions. So he was familiar with the running of Screen Stars. And this was going to be twofold. It was going to be a growth fast, especially in our export market. And it was going to be a growth for him. And so we went forward.
Excellent. Excellent. I think that's a very valuable lesson. There is another side to you, unless Jennifer, you have other questions about the business.
No, I was going, and I feel that is where you're going to with her other side. So
Yeah.
I'll let you go.
Because we see the business, we see the family, and we know your person who giving back. You're also involved in the
Yes.
African Women's Association of Trinidad and Tobago. And this is a group that probably not many people know about, not many Afro-Trinidadian women know about. What is it and where did it come from? What role does it play?
This group was started by Pat McLeod way back in 81. However, it was registered in maybe 90s. When the registration came is when I was part of it. But it was I came to a meeting and then, as you normally, we go to the meetings and then nobody was much people weren't coming, and it ended up in my lap. And Hazel and myself together, we started, and we started to do much more work with the African Women Association. And the first thing we did, we had an office on Prince Street at William Monroe's office. And what we did, we used to help people who, like older people who needed help in accessing government funding, like social work, like fill forms for them.
Yeah.
We sent notes out at parlors in the area in Laventille in the school bags of children, because we did an after school program where we taught the children everything from good touch, bad touch, life skills. We taught the children life skills. So we put a note in their bags and said if people needed any assistance, to come. And when we came out on Prince Street the next morning, there was a long line of people going around the corner. And we spent all day, two of us spent all day, and we had people making calls and helping these people to fill forms. And we did that for a long time. And then we moved on. We moved on, and we were doing for years. We did one at Moulton Hall. We did and a few other schools in Port of Spain, and we have some really lovely stories about children that we have been able to help. So that had been our main focus. We also do the women's prisons. We do something with the women's prisons every year, like do care packages for them. And we assist women who are in domestic situations. We continue to do a lot that type of work. And we at this time we are about to do a major revamping of the whole organization and forward plan on what we are going to do. And it's really, you'd hear a lot about us because a lot is being done as we speak. And so you will see more visibility of us in the near future.
Excellent. Jennifer.
No, that's great. And as you said, we don't hear much about. I know they work hard. I'm aware of the association, because I follow certain, times that you had the almanac and certain things that you all do.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yes, I didn't mention. I should mention that has been a major success, which our calendar, that the Heroes calendar, and every year we feature women who have contributed in sports or in education or any field like that, and it has turned out to be a real piece of historical piece where schools use them, because lots of the people that we have featured, people didn't know about them, and we also feature a lot of people who are alive and present, and it is a very exciting calendar that we've been doing for 4 years, and it's really been accepted really well in the community.
Great, because it did. I remember using it. My granddaughter had a project in school, so right, that I used one of the persons that were featured there, for her to. Yeah, so that moving forward, you're already more visible, so you can get support to do the work that you all are doing, So, and it seems that you're finding that time because you have a very, very busy schedule running your businesses, and to find time to give back and to work in the community, that's really admirable. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I think one of the things they say is if you want something done, find a busy person who would be able to to help you to get it done and get it organized. Lilla, is there any aspect of you? We've talked about you as a business person over the years. We've talked about you with your social work. We've talked about you as helping to maintain the built heritage of Port of Spain. Because you are doing that. What other aspect of Lilla Williams is there that we would not have covered?
I'm a very fun person. Yes, I'm a very fun person. I play mass, I am duvet and stuff, and I'm also a very spiritual person. And I know, not I think, I know, had it not been for my strong spirituality, I would not have been able to do this journey the way I have done it. Because every time that I have been in a place where I needed to get strength, solace, or anything, it's been my spiritual self that has come forth for me, and always. And for me, my biggest good point is my strong spirituality, which I'm growing every day. I'm growing every day, and the older I get, the more I'm growing, and I have so much to look forward to. I'm grateful to be to be this age and growing, and I have so much to look forward to, especially in this area.
Beautiful. Would you like to tell us some more about that? What kind of kinds of things you do? Whether it is
well, I go to church. I'm a Methodist, and I believe in I love my Methodism. My singing of Methodism is what Methodism is based in, and what it was born out of. And Methodists love to sing hymns. They're beautiful hymns. I love the singing. I love I'm from old Methodism, where you had soiree and your harvest and your. So I look forward to all these things. But I'm not just a Methodist, because I also come back from church and Methodist and look at the Catholic Jason Gordon on a Sunday. When I come back from my church, I sit there and I listen. So it's about God. It's not about, that's why I wouldn't say I am religious, because I'm spiritual, because I come back from my church and I sit there. Sundays is my Sabbath. I try to do all my cooking and my stuff before, so I can just relax and look at Jason Gordon after my church day. Once I wake up and I'm here and in the house, I go to church. And I go to church. I go to church. I go and praise God. And there's never a day that I go and I do not get something. I get something out of it. Sometimes you have a preacher or someone that isn't as you like or whatever. But if we all listen, we'll always get something out of it, and I never leave empty.
Totally agree. And it's so important. I'm glad you brought that point up, because spirituality, many of us, that is our source. That's how we can, cope and overcome a lot of the challenges that we may have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it definitely has, because sometimes, and I asked the question and went into the question also, because again, many of us, as we go on the journey, because of the life we've come through, and I think having careers over the last 40, 50 years, many people could become very, very distracted. But when we get into the stories of successful people, truly successful people who have made a difference, built enduring businesses, and really, because I can just imagine the impact that you and your businesses would have had on staff. And I can just imagine that you have staff who have been long serving.
Yes.
So
yes.
There always is that aspect, and people can very easily get carried away by the success, in stars, the souvenir shops at the airport, the cruise ship terminal, but they don't understand what drives you and where those values are. And in that sense, if we were to say, can we ask you, what are the values that drive Lilla Williams? What do you stand on?
Faith and humility.
Yes.
Faith, where the business is concerned, or where I am concerned, there were times in the business where you look left and you look right and it didn't look good, but I knew that God was not going to leave me, and there was somehow I would get through. I didn't know how, I didn't know exactly, but that not knowing how does not stop you from putting a plan in place. You put a plan in place, it's not showing up, it's not working out, it's not adding up, but you have to put something in place and know that if you put your foot into the water, something will happen, and once you step forward, something will happen. And it was faith in God and in myself, and more than anything, humility.
A good, devoted Methodist woman who I consider to be like my second mother taught me about that, and she gave it a name, Prevenient Grace. And she said, Tarian, you go out there, you do what you have to do. You wouldn't see how, you wouldn't see why, but it's prepared for you. Just keep going. So,
There goes my Methodist teachers again. Yeah.
so I can definitely
I come from a long line of Methodists. From my great grandparents were Methodists, and and has always been a great thing as a child and now to be a Methodist. And while so many of us in the family and about, we have changed where how we worship, and it doesn't matter really how we worship. It's that we worship God. And I haven't changed because I like where I am, but being a Methodist, for me, I like that. I was listening to the Catholic, and Wanda Mengo was saying, I'm proud to be a Catholic, and I was saying, yes, you're right. It's good because I'm proud to be a Methodist, and we are all serving God. Wherever you are, whether Pentecostal or what, you're proud to be because it's one God.
Definitely. Well, I am certainly thrilled.
Jennifer is smiling her smile. Jennifer has a smile and it doesn't come out.
I grew up in Belmont. So my primary school, I went Belmont Methodist. For my dad and my father's side, they were all Methodists. So when my mother being Catholic and we to go to Catholic school, we all, we grew up Catholic. But I went to the Sunday school right there in Belmont Circular Road, the Methodist Church right there.
Oh.
I went to school right through there, and I went Belmont Methodist before going on to, after I stayed there for a couple of months and then switched. So I know all about that background, growing up in the Methodist community there. Yeah.
The both of you have all been touched by Methodist people in your lives, huh?
When the Methodists and the Moravians.
Yes, they're very close. You remember, related. One of my very good friends is a.
Yeah, Terry, I never Methodist school.
What's that?
I said, no. I attended Methodist primary school and going to Methodist Sunday school, growing up. Yeah, right in Belmont.
Good.
I was mentored by a very powerful Methodist woman.
Right. That is so wonderful.
She's my second mother. So, and I have lots of her hymn books and so on. So I know the routine. No, it really is so important, and I will keep saying this, that for the generations, not only for our own cohort, us to see each other and get, I don't know if it is inspiration or motivation, but really to get strength, draw strength from each other to continue, because we carry so much. We have responsibilities for so many. You look back, you look at the children and you worry. You look forward, you look at the parents and you worry. You look across at your friends and you worry. But we've made successes, and it's so good to be able to speak to you. I love your aura, your continuous smiling, and joy comes out of you. And I just love that. I just love it. So, this has been a good day for me.
Yes, thank you for having me. I know you've asked, I should have been on before, and I've always been ducking it, as you said.
Before it's time.
Nothing before it's time. And Terry, and it's such a pleasure working with you, because I've had the pleasure of working with you, seeing you come in, and when we have people, sisters like you, daughters who just being pleasant and being, so caring, is really refreshing, and it reminds us of where we are and where we should be at a stage in life as the mentors, as the ones that are there to set the examples for the younger ones, because sometimes we complain about the younger ones, and we forget that they've been shadowing someone.
We are raising them.
And it may not be you exactly, but someone, but the job to fix it is for all of us to fix, not just one person, but all of us have to do something to do the fixing.
Great.
Yeah.
Jen?
I just want to tell the fact that, the 60 plus, our 50 plus cohort, to know that ain't giving up. It have nothing to do with age. And you will continue, and you're building and growing still. And that's great. That's very good for us, as we chat and encourage, our audience, our cohort to listen, be active, continue giving back, support each other, and tell your story. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lilla. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Long overdue, but well worth it.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you. See you soon. Talk to you.
Yes. Okay.
All the best. Thank you.
Yes, Jennifer, that was really a great story. And not only a great story, it's a great example that must be lifted up high so that persons who are up and coming can see, because not only is Lilla a successful business person, she's not an entrepreneur. She's gone beyond that. She is an established business person, diversified business, successfully got her family, her children into the business, is exporting, is manufacturing, is retailing, is distributing, and she also is active in the social, helping to improve people's lives. She's a woman of faith, and she is a woman with such joy and happiness. There is no burden on her whatsoever. And I just love that. I just love that.
That we have a lot still to give back, a lot to give.
Definitely. Well, we do hope that you viewers are enjoying this month's series of our trailblazers and the examples of persons that are in and around who've been doing so much, but they're on the papers, on the TV, on the song, but they're there. So we are putting them forward. And if you know the story, someone with a story that is worth telling, give Jen and I a call and let's bring them on, even if it's you. We never like to volunteer, Jennifer. We could always say that one and that one, but not say me. So, if you know a person and it's you, give us a call. Okay. So we will see you all next week. and give us feedback. Send us some feedback. Drop us a line on Facebook, Instagram, the WhatsApp group. Let us know what you think of this series and of the whole idea of sharing your story. Let's know what's going on. So until next week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
50 Plus Tribe and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.